Hello everyone, welcome to DSP versus the Internet, my weekly clips react show here on DSP Reacts. It is Sunday the 17th of March 2024 and this is episode 56. We have quite a few Ultra member submissions to get through this week. Remember, the Ultra members are the biggest supporters of this channel and they are guaranteed to have their video clips watched once a week. So we're going to go through those right now and then get to the randomized playlist of submissions level members who all have an equal chance to be watched because we basically just hit shuffle. All right. So this is an interesting one to start with. This is going to be a modern take on the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 selection screen theme song, I Want to Take You for a Ride. For those who don't know, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to this day is still regarded as one of the best fighting games of all time. Came out in the late 90s and was ported to consoles in the early 2000s. Basically, it is a versus fighting game that pits tons of Marvel Comics characters against all kinds of Capcom properties. I loved this game. I played it competitively back in the day. I traveled all over the country to play it. But one of the weirdest things about this game is the soundtrack. It's got almost like a weird jazz lounge ensemble soundtrack. A lot of the music is made with real instruments and singing. And it's like, it's so out of place for a fighting game. It really is. And it was this, and also Capcom vs. SNK 2 had a unique soundtrack that was kind of weird. And at that time, everyone was wondering what Capcom was thinking about the soundtracks of their games. It's just funny because, you know, you've got a Sentinel shooting missiles and lasers and blasting someone with a giant combo to like this weird music that just doesn't fit. So I'm actually pretty interested to see what they do with this. It's called the 8-Bit Big Band. Let's see. All right, here we go. A song that I've probably heard thousands of times in my life due to playing this game so much, both, you know, casually and in tournaments. Let's see what they do with Take You for a Ride. Okay. Very bluesy soul singing.
I've got a choice to make, it's easy as can be. I see a lot of faces, but only one from me. I want to impress you, baby, from across the street. On my Sunday best, call me the war machine.
Wow.
It's your way I'm looking. I'm like, were you Hadouken? Yeah, you've caught my eye. Now I've got to try to get you.
This is amazing.
On my side. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
So this part right now is what you heard in the game when you're picking your character. Oh, see, they made it. They made the rest up. This is cool because they took the spirit of the music of the game, because there's other stages that sound like this, and they took that big band mentality and turned it into a real song with lyrics. The game has songs like this, but this is original based on the music of the game, which is really neat.
That touch of death until you're up in heaven.
Sing a game to me, baby. No, it's only you that can save me. Yeah, you caught my eye. Now I've got to try to get you, baby, on my side.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Plain to see, this ain't a game to me.
But baby, you're my destiny.
I wanna take you, I wanna take you for a ride.
What's cool is I think this is this is allowable because this is their own interpretation of the song. This isn't the real song, so it's not like Capcom could come after them and be like, "Oh, you know, you stole our music, it's copyright." Nah, they basically elaborated on what they had done in the soundtrack to make their own song. It's actually really well done. I love it. Again, reminiscent of like almost Cowboy Bebop, right? The Cowboy Bebop intro. It's the same style of music. All these cool musicians working on this is just wild. Wow. Crazy on the keyboard. Well done. Talent. Actual amazing amounts of talent put into this. You know what the real question is? Do you think that any of these people have actually played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at any competitive level or even know anything about the game's gameplay? Probably not, right? They're just in it for the music, which is fine. Yeah, like Persona, exactly. Persona has had similar kinds of music too, right?
But once the game is done, will I still be your
Oh my god, I'm still making these lyrics. They're so hilarious.
'Cause I will fight with all my might.
We've only got so many lives.
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
There's plenty cities in the den for me, but baby, you're my destiny.
Oh my god. Of course, now this makes me want to play Marvel 2. You know, the thing is, I haven't played it in so many years. You know, I would suck. Like, I know some basic stuff I know I would still be able to pull off, but I know I would probably be terrible at it because I haven't played it in so long. But now I got a craving to play Marvel 2. It's like, how do you play it? You can't. Like, there's no console version available. And I think you could play it on Fightcade. So maybe that's something we'll try to do later in the year. We'll try to get Fightcade up and running on the mini PC. But now I'm like, damn, now I want to play Marvel 2. You know, hear the real song. Okay, let's just hear the end.
I wanna take you for a ride. Oh, I wanna take you for a ride. There's plenty cities in the den for me, but baby, you're my destiny. I wanna take you through. I wanna take you for a ride.
It's awesome. The only sad part is the game, I'm not kidding, competitively, the game has like 10 characters. Like, seriously, there's like 10 playable characters that are good, and the rest of the cast, because it's one of the biggest fighting game casts of all time, they're terrible. So it's funny, even the characters they picked there to show aren't even good in the game, like very few. Like Magneto was and Cable are the two that they showed that are actually like tournament characters, and maybe Storm, and the rest are like terrible. No one uses them. Anyway, all right, that was cool. That was really neat. That was a good way to start.
Hello, nice food mall. This is new. I saw a KFC sign earlier. You know where it is?
Oh, yeah, right there to the left.
Fantastic. I go check it.
OMC, what?
Is that Obama fried? That's one on so many levels. You know, I'm looking for KFC. You know, the one with Colonel Sanders.
Oh, that one. Yeah, right next door.
You said that one. Like, there's many, but never mind. I go check it out.
DFC? Who's that?
Since when did Colonel Sanders become Asian?
It's pretty popular.
Okay, I mean the one that sells fried chicken. Okay, the crispy one.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, that's right down this way.
Yes, it's exactly the one you're thinking of. Thank you. Okay, finally, I go look at the...
What the?
Since when he becomes so fit, I said Colonel Sanders, not curling dumbbell. What they sell gym memberships. Okay, you have to know the world's most famous fried chicken.
We got Fried Chicken Kitchen.
KFC.
Yeah, KFC.
No, only
K
one word.
apostrophe FC.
KFC.
How everybody know the slogan? It's finger licking good.
That's right. We got I'm good here.
I'm good
Either
here.
a 2-star review or a cry for help. Okay, forget about fried chicken. You got Domino's.
We got Dominic's.
You got
Oh
five
no!
lads.
We got 5 lads.
You got
Five
McDonald's.
We
lads!
got McDonald's.
You don't have McDonald's. The one with ba da ba ba ba. I love
need
it.
it.
I need it.
That's definitely a cry for help. Okay, you got Burger King.
We got King Burger.
King
Subway.
Burger.
We got Subway.
You got Pizza Hut.
Yeah, they're always pretty busy.
Pizza Hat.
Peter, hat! I let you know if I shopping for hats. I won't even have lunch anymore. You got a coffee from Starbucks something?
Yeah, we got both of those.
Both?
Star and Bucks. So I guess that's how they get away with it, right? It's a variation, and it's not exactly the same, and they're like, no one could totally understand that's not Starbucks, that's Star and Bucks. And then people might go there think it's Starbucks, right? This guy does stuff like this all the time. I've actually seen videos that he did where it's knockoff products as well, and the names are very similar, but the products are like awful. All right, that was pretty funny. I like that. We're not watching the whole thing, but that was pretty good.
So there's 2 bits of information today.
So here's the thing, guys. People really, for some reason, want to get into a discussion about rollback netcode with me, even though I know what it is. They act like I don't. And someone says, oh, look, here's a 45-minute clip from Sajam, or however you say his name, Sajam? I don't know how to say his name. The YouTuber who covers fighting games. And it totally explains it. I'm like, that's great, but this is not a show where we watch 45-minute clips. So all I'll do, we'll watch like a couple minutes, and if it doesn't get to the point right away, we're just going to go to the next video. Like, I'm sorry, but this is a clips show. You understand? This is not a long-form react show. If you want to see me do a long-form react to rollback netcode, that's totally different. We could do that at some point, but that's not the point of this show. So submitting a 45-minute clip about rollback netcode is never going to be productive. Let's just watch the beginning of it and see. And by the way, I want to compliment this guy. He's a good creator in the FGC. He's a good player. He's a good creator. And his videos are great. I recommend him. If you're interested in FGC stuff, fighting game stuff, you should check out his stuff.
First bit of information was the Riot fighting game getting announced and everything. The second news and information is this lovely article came out by Infilament. Now, you guys might be familiar with Infilament. He made this guide, the ki.infil.net, which is the greatest resource for a fighting game ever created. Ever. So today, Infilament wrote another blog post. The first one was about bugs in fighting games and how they work. Stuff like the Guile handcuff glitch, stuff like this flying bug in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and then this bug, the Quicksilver glitch. Then the second guide was written, Netcode. Now this is an explanation of how delay-based and rollback netcode works for fighting games. A lot of people have asked in the chat room how netcode works, why one is better than the other, etc., etc., etc. There's been lots of discussions about both, and a lot of people in my chat room have asked questions about rollback, have asked questions about delay. There's been a lot of people assuming or saying things about rollback that's maybe not correct. And before,
just to give you, because I know what people want, again, is they probably want me to go on a rant here in my perspective, okay? The 2 kinds of netcode that have historically been used for fighting games is delay-based and rollback. In delay-based netcode, all right, there's lag, and the lag is represented by the game actually running slower, meaning delayed. It's like slow-mo, all right? With rollback netcode, when there's lag, the game skips a lot. Like, you'll see frames skipping and things actually being like happening on the screen and then getting taken back, okay? Hence, rollback. So it's 2 different ways to handle latency in a fighting game. Now, as I've explained many times over the years, for those watching someone play a fighting game, you would say rollback is much better because you would very much not notice issues with rollback netcode if there's lag, unless it's so bad that it's skipping all over the place. Then it's apparent that it's laggy. But when you're watching someone play a fighting game with rollback netcode, 9 times out of 10, even if there is lag, you, the viewer, would not notice it, but the player would, okay? They would notice, okay, I'm doing something, it didn't come out. What happened there, right? With delay-based netcode, everyone has the same experience, meaning when you're watching or playing, everyone sees the game running in slow-mo, you realize the game is laggy, okay? I'm being told to skip to 1327. All right, we'll skip to 1327. But anyway, my take is this. Neither version is a great solution. One makes it look better, but not play better. The other, it just looks and plays bad, but in either case, you're not getting proper inputs of what you're actually doing. What I've discovered in my experience with rollback netcode over the years is that even though in most cases it looks better, you're going to notice a lot more issues in regards to your performance. Case in point, Street Fighter 6. A lot of times when I play that game online, I know I've done the inputs, and the game just eats it. Literally just eats your input, oh, you didn't press anything, your character just stands there. Or you do a full motion with the button and it acts like you just pressed the button and there's no motion with the joystick at all. That's because of the rollback netcode. What rollback netcode does is it eats the input in order to quickly justify what's going on and make it have like an equivalent solution in the game. But it's not a solution. Like, it's just a band-aid for an ongoing problem with latency in these fighting games. And people have accepted in the fighting game community that this rollback netcode is like the end-all be-all best netcode of all time, and every game should have it, and it never needs to improve because that's just it. And like, no, it's not. Okay, like, take a look. Explanation, how the prediction works, delay and rollback and prediction, what it takes to implement. So I'll just play a little bit of it. But yeah, what happens with rollback is it has to try to predict what's happening and then rectify that with the actual inputs once they're received over the internet. And then it comes to like a determination, and then it gives you the outcome. But what happens is it will drop your inputs a lot of the time. You'll do something that you know you did. I did a Shoryuken, and the game instead guesses that you did a forward medium punch. So you get the forward medium punch instead. And like, wait, what? But no, that's not what I did. But people, oh, that's great. That's great netcode. If you say so. If you were in a baseball game and you swung at a baseball and you know that you swung in time to hit the ball, and the game says, oh, you only half swung, you didn't full swing, so you're out, right? Would you be okay with that in a competitive game of baseball? But that's how it is playing these games online. But the FGC just has collectively accepted that this is okay and this is the best netcode. It's, in my opinion, it has light years to go to be actually competitively viable. But let's see the basic explanation here.
Since a game's choice of netcode can never magically change the distance between a player and their opponent
Correct.
or prevent networks from dropping or delaying information,
Correct.
you may wonder how one netcode strategy could be drastically better than the other. The key lies in how the netcode handles uncertainty. Rollback's main strength is that it never waits for missing inputs from the opponent. Instead, rollback netcode continues to run the game normally, and all inputs from the local player are processed immediately like it was offline. Right? Rollback netcode feels like it's offline. All your timing, anti-airing stuff, doing your setups, all of it works correctly, right? Then when the input...
No. Because when you're playing, your inputs get dropped. You'll think you're doing it right. You will be inputting it right. And then the game says you didn't. So wrong. Wrong assumption right there. Completely wrong.
Input from the remote player comes in a few frames later. Rollback fixes its mistake by correcting the past. It does this in such a clever way that the local player may not even notice a large percentage of network instability. If at any time you're missing inputs, right, any amount of frames,
there you go.
The game will continue to move forward on your screen, and everything you push will feel like it's offline. It'll continue going. When they catch up and they receive inputs from your opponents, it will say, okay, well, now that we've received those inputs from this dead zone, these 3 frames we missed, what happens in those 3 frames? Well, it turned out in those 3 frames that our opponent did nothing, right? So it'll simulate the game and say, well, nothing else changed. All right, we'll caught back up. So in one frame, it will receive all the inputs that happened before, run those inputs versus the inputs you sent, and determine what actually happened, and then play out from there. Sometimes that results in a small teleport. Sometimes that results in nothing. You don't even notice it. In the example below, both the local player and the remote player press medium punch on frame 1. But let's say the opponent's input is delayed over the network and reaches us 3 frames later on frame 4. Like offline play, the local player's move immediately begins animating on their screen. On frame 4, input from the opponent, marked as being pressed on frame 1, finally arrives. This means what we've shown the player in the last 3 frames is not really what happened, and the game must fix the past by performing some calculations in the background. The game logic reruns that.
Yeah, this is everything that we already know. It uses predictable logic to figure out what's going on, and then it tries to rectify it after the fact. But it erases your inputs. All I have to say, because we could watch this whole video, and it's not going to change the fact of what we really know about rollback netcode. It's not accurate. It guesses, and then it tries to fix mistakes after the fact, and it doesn't result in a viable outcome as if you were sitting there playing with the person offline. It's guesswork. And a lot of the times you'll be doing inputs and it won't give you what you did because it didn't read it properly. It dropped your input. All I will say is this. In the mid-2000s, when rollback netcode was first introduced by one of the Cannon brothers, and I keep forgetting if it's Tony or Tom, and I apologize because my brain is not wired to recognize the name properly, and I don't know why. It's embarrassing. I should have learned by now who actually wrote Rollback Netcode, and I don't. I'm stupid like that. Okay, that's a me problem. But whoever created it, all right, presented it online to test on SureYouCan.com. It was presented for free. Everyone was able to play fighting games with it, and they wanted testing of it. So I tested it along with everyone else. And when I tested it, I noticed that for some odd reason, a lot of the moves that I performed never came out. They were dropped. Sometimes I would press a button. Nothing would happen in the game. And even though the match looked better, it didn't play better. And I approached the Cannon brother. Was it Tony Cannon? Okay, so it was Tony Cannon. I approached Tony Cannon in an IRC chat room about this. And I said, so what you've created is a netcode that looks good, but actually plays bad. And he disagreed, of course. He's like, no, I think this is better than delay-based. I said, but with delay-based, you know there's lag because you see it. With this, you can't tell there's lag. You literally can't rectify what's going on in the game. You don't know who input what properly, who did what, because your code is erasing stuff. It predicts and then tries to catch up and doesn't always represent properly what was input. Because I can tell you right now, I'm standing there pressing a punch, and it says punch, 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 drops the punch on the fourth punch. That's unacceptable from a competitive standpoint. That's the same as having a broken button, okay? And when I confronted Tony Cannon about it, I said, right now, will you admit to me that the net-based or delay-based netcode, or excuse me, that the rollback netcode drops frames in order to rectify and make it look better? And he outright said, yes, that's exactly what it does. I said, so it's not competitive. It's not competitive. You are literally sacrificing the quality of the match to make it look better. That is called pulling the wool over the eyes of people. They don't understand that that's bullshit. You've destroyed the sanctity of the competitiveness of a match when you're purposefully dropping people's inputs to make it look better. I don't care if it looks better. I want it to play better, and it doesn't. Like I said, at least when you're watching the delay-based netcode, you can tell when there's lag because it lags up. It runs slow-mo, so you know it's laggy. When you're doing rollback netcode, you have no fucking clue if there's lag. Did you not input correctly, or did the game drop your input? You'll never fucking know. There's no way to tell. It's bullshit. And people love this fucking netcode because it looks better, not because it plays better. It's nonsense. And I'm sorry. Yes, you might say, oh, every game should have it. Fine, but that's not the best option. The option is to get something better. Why is there no better netcode in how many years now? We're fighting. We're all still demanding the games have rollback netcode instead of something better. This is the mid-2000s. This is almost 20 years ago. In 20 years, someone didn't come up with something better? Then erase my fucking input? It doesn't make any sense. And that's the issue I have with it. That everyone in the collective FGC has just thrown their hands up and said, it's the best. Well, great, but you want better. Why just accept something that's inferior and will literally drop your inputs to make the match look better? The creator of the fucking netcode admitted it to me. All right. And by the way, when I criticized rollback netcode on SRK.com, they banned me. Later, it got lifted, but they literally banned me. I said, why would you ban me from the website to speak the truth about this netcode? Because we're trying to sell it. That's what I was told. How are we supposed to make a buck and sell this product we created if you're talking negatively about it? Well, then what you don't want criticism. You don't want facts and reviews. You want someone to push your product for free. You want a spokesperson to kiss your butt. And that's not who I am. It's never who I've been. And that's what they were looking for. They wanted people who were going to kiss their butt and say, this is the best netcode. So then they could sell it. And guess what's happened? Guess what every fighting game has now? Because people just kiss butt, man. I'm sorry. You're never going to change my opinion on this netcode. Really, you're never going to change my opinion on it. I don't like it. I don't like rollback netcode. Don't drop my fucking input in a competitive match, period. If you're going to have delay in my input and you see slow-mo, that's different. I'm sorry, you can't change my opinion. I've been there, done. I was there day one when that netcode released, and the answers I got were so unsatisfactory. No, it doesn't make the match better. It makes it look better, but don't say anything about it because we're trying to sell it to make money, make profit, and we're going to ban you from SRK because you're criticizing our netcode. Okay, well, fuck this, you know. Sorry that I'll be the one person that will forever tell you that this netcode is not good. I guess you'll just have to listen to me only, and everyone else in the FGC will continue to pull wool over their own eyes and kiss their own butts. I don't know what else to say. On to the next video.
Fallout New Vegas, super well liked.
Yeah.
Very beloved over the years. Was there ever any thought to doing another Fallout game with Obsidian? Obviously, they're owned by Microsoft now, but did that ever go anywhere?
I wouldn't say there were conversations. You know, look, love those guys. Fergus is one of I think one of the great people in the industry, and we've always had a great relationship with them. We like to keep it internal because we know what we want to do. So it is, if we can keep it internal, we would. And now that they've been bought, you know, you never say never, but it makes it highly unlikely. I'll say that. And there were obviously very few people when the New Vegas thing came up, because we were going to be moving on to Skyrim. You know, hey, we want more Fallout. Like, another thing, this is a hit. What are you going to do next? We're like, Skyrim. And it was, hey, look, there's only one group that we really trust to do this, and it was awesome.
It was only ever Obsidian.
Correct.
Yeah. That paid off.
We got other look,
very well.
We get lots of people saying that they would do it, even back then. Like,
yeah.
hey, you should let us do this, and that was for me. It was the only. It's either this group or nobody.
Who's the most famous developer that you've rebuffed?
That would be unfair.
You tell me off the air later.
There aren't many New Vegas posters lining the halls of BGS, and in talking to the team here, it sounds like they weren't overly involved in the production at all.
We were very hands-off with that. We had, I think, you know, it was a corporate level decided that, like, we should do this, and we wanted to support them as best we could. But we knew that, you know, they were capable folks and they were doing their own thing. I think we had like 1 or 2 meetings with them just to like go over some high-level stuff and like what are the ground rules.
It's fascinating to me, the story of New Vegas, because a lot of people to this day, all right, believe that New Vegas is better than Fallout 3, right? A lot of people believe that. And it's crazy to think that it was a different dev team. All they were given the assets of Fallout 3, so they had the same engine to work with, right? But really, a lot of those ideas and things that they did, you know, I would argue improvements, like making melee class much better, a lot of the narrative choices being different and interesting, that was all on Obsidian. And then Obsidian went on to make other games that were very similar to that. And now, Fallout 4 came out and everyone's like, we wish that actually Obsidian had made Fallout 4, because, man, Fallout 4 was kind of a disappointment compared to what Fallout New Vegas had been, right?
What should we be doing? But we were busy working on our own stuff here.
Right.
So we knew, that was one of the things, we knew that, like, listen, if they're going to do this, we're not going to really have the time to work on it with them because we're doing our own stuff.
How much support did you give Obsidian when it came to New Vegas? Was that very much just their own thing that was going on?
It pretty much was their own. We were pretty knee-deep in Skyrim at that point, and there really wasn't a lot of help that we could give them. Interesting enough, of all the people, I was probably the one who were on the team that worked on New Vegas the most, actually. But they, you know, they did a heck of a job where we literally gave them like this. Here is the engine and the tech. Godspeed.
Just do whatever you want.
We gave them all the source. Like, it was basically, you know, we gave them all the raw assets, you know, from Fallout 3. Like, here's everything. You know, they gave us a great pitch, a great story, and it was pretty exciting actually to see someone else do their take on it, and it was obviously well received as well. But you know, I thought they did a great job with that game.
Fan of those earlier games?
Oh my God, loved them. I think it's genius stuff. You know, all the credit to Tim Kaine and Jason Anderson, all those guys who did that game. That's the other thing. Why don't you make your own post-apocalyptic thing? It's like, well, we could do all this gameplay. But there's a shtick with it, with Vault-Tec and the world of the 50s. That's the sauce. That's the sauce. Even though not every, you know, I know there was a lot of like fan angst, understandably so. I would have been the same way.
If you ever get a chance to work on a video game, work on a Fallout game. You can do practically anything in a Fallout game. And just the breadth of the storytelling, the breadth of the art direction, the tone, and
the thing. I mean, again, the thing that I'm finding very interesting is now it's actually come out now that after the success of New Vegas, it was a huge success, sales success for Bethesda, and they were shocked. They didn't know it was going to do that well. They were busy working on Skyrim. Obsidian then said, we would love to do an Elder Scrolls similar game. Just give us the Elder Scrolls engine and everything, and we'd like to do a spin-off Elder Scrolls game, because now that you finish Skyrim, we know you're on to the next, like they're working on Fallout 4. And they turned them down. Why would you turn them down? That just kills me. That we didn't get another Elder Scrolls, or we didn't get another game in that universe, right? Why? I would have loved, I mean, yeah, it would have been a spin-off game like New Vegas, but what did they not like about New Vegas that made them say, nah, we'll pass on a spin-off, you know, Elder Scrolls game? I think it would have been huge. It would have sold. It would have been great for Bethesda. It would have been great for everyone, gamers. You know, I just don't understand that at all. Why pass on that opportunity when it's kind of a big what-if scenario that we'll always wonder about? Because now, how long has it been since we had an Elder Scrolls game? And how long till the next one comes out? I mean, we're talking 20 years between iterations at this point. Who's going to wait that long? So, oh, and by the way, let's be honest. With Starfield releasing and being such an underwhelming, you know, paint by numbers, very, very blasé, zero innovation game, now you got to wonder, is the next Elder Scrolls going to be like that? And if it is anyone going to care about Bethesda ever again? You know how they say the mighty have fallen? And if they had Obsidian filling in the gaps between these ginormous games, maybe then the pressure wouldn't have been as bad to perform and come out with these insane masterpieces because you still have good games in between. Now you're just sitting around waiting, when's the fucking next Bethesda game? How old am I going to be? Right? Another generation of people have been born and gone, and you still haven't made another game yet? Right? It's pretty wild to think about it. Anyway, all right. Well, good start to DSP versus the Internet for this week. I hope that you guys are enjoying. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you become a member today of the submission or higher level, you can submit clips for the next show. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.